The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. At this time, we ask that you please rise, if you are able, remove your caps, as we honor America with the national anthem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. Friday afternoon of racing here at the Big A. The track is muddy. Here are today's early scratches and changes. Race 1 is the start of the early pick 5. It's clear, no changes in today's first. Race 2, start of the early pick 4, is clear. No changes in today's second. Race 3, start of the pick 6. No changes in today's third. Race 4, start of the late pick 5. Scratch the 1, Clash AJ. The 1, Clash AJ, scratched in today's fourth. Race 5 is the start of the late pick 4. Rider change on the 6 in today's fifth. Make it Oscar Gomez. Race 6 is clear. No changes in today's sixth. Race 7, rider change on the 5. Make the jockey Abner Adorno. And race 8, scratch the 3, Uncle Dan. Scratch the 4, Chess Spectacular. Scratch the 7, Brass Monkey. Scratch the 3, 4, and 7 in today's 8th. Those are today's early scratches and changes. The track is listed as muddy. Coming up next, we'll be talking horses with your hosts, Andy Serling and the Big A, Anthony Stabile.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Sterling, as we kick off the weekend's action. Got really nice out. You and I were upstairs. Track's harrowed. It still is muddy, and there is some moisture in it. But considering how much rain, did you guys have thunder and lightning here last night?
It thundered. I was reading something. Amy Freeze, who deserted us on ABC.
It was thundering in the city. We had lightning and thunder in the city.
Something since like
I hid under the covers.
1860 since 1863.
Well, I've seen thunder and lightning in the winter occasionally.
But
not
they said
often.
this is the earliest or something. That's since like 1860.
It was, yeah, I was surprised. I heard the noise. I was thinking, sounds like thunder.
Yeah.
Anyway, but and that was, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So it's nice to see the track is at least in reasonable shape. It's a little windy out and some nice sun out. Beautiful day, warm day. So perhaps the track will dry out quite a bit as the day goes on. It's nice to see that happening. We have an 8-race card today. You need to head over to Naira Bets. We had to get started a little late. Had some mic problems thanks to John Getzler, our sound man, our reliable man, coming up here and giving me a new mic for better or worse. So either you love him or you hate him. $200 match of $200 your deposit. Use the promo code MATCH200. We have a bonus with Tampa. Tampa 75 here at Aqueduct on Tampa. We'll be showing their 9th race, an interesting turf allowance, assuming they're on the turf. I haven't looked. In their 9th race, say $75, get a $15 bonus. And last but not least, 2:30 to 5:30, America's Day at the Races. Maggie, Greg and I here, and Paula Duca at.
Give you an interesting tidbit today, Andy. No horses start with the letter A at Aqueduct today. How about that?
That is. It changes everything. I probably would have handicapped differently. Race number 1, I'll be interested to see if the favorites are separated by as little as David has in the line, but he's really right about this. And I guess as we look at Banana Fanafo hanging last time and running 3rd, while Franny Lou in her 2nd start was able to finish 4th. She kind of fell apart, but this was a race where the pace sort of held together, so she didn't have an excuse there. I took her. I just don't want Banana Fanafo, and I assume that's what David was thinking with the line, thinking people are going to look at these horses, and even though Banana Fanafo easily beat Franny Lou's made just 2 starts. Banana Fanafo has had 13, and doesn't this race just sort of encapsulate a horse that just doesn't want to win?
You took you took Franny Lou, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't take Banana Fanafo either. I could not do this. How do you not get the job done here? And you kind of compound that with not getting the job done at Finger Lakes that day. And it's just, to me, you lose 2 of these last 3.
Well, the horse wasn't favored at Finger Lakes.
No, I understand that, right. Well, she wasn't favored last time either.
But I'm saying, yeah, but last time was great. I'm just saying, yes, there's a million chances, right?
Yeah,
this horse has had a zillion races.
No.
And been some short prices on the go back at Finger Lakes, last year.
Yeah.
So
No, this horse is, this is the kind of horse either of us are, it's hard to imagine either of us are ever picking this horse.
So what did I miss about Wine Goddess?
You know what? Dropping down for this level for the first time. 3rd off a little bit of a break. This horse ran off of the layoff. I thought this horse ran. I mean, Laughter has come back and ran that crazy race, so that was 2 in a row for Laughter.
Field last
time. I know it was awful. Last time was brutal. There was a smidge of trouble at the start. Nothing much.
Horse was awful.
Horse was awful last time. Now the horse drops. Now the horse drops to the bottom against Banana Fanafo and Franny Lou, who really didn't. I didn't think Franny Lou had much of an excuse last time either. So I just took the dropper. That was it, really.
If I was going to take the Bob Caceres horse, I'd take the horse off the year-plus layoff out in the outside. At least that horse, we don't know that it can't run. Race number 2, they're going a mile in here, and we'll take a look at Ice Cold Gold 2 races back, losing a race to Keen Dancer, which in some ways felt kind of inexcusable at that time, and I had liked Ice Cold Gold, and to be fair, no excuse. I was hoping the horse would be loose in the lead. She was. Eric gave the horse the right ride. Just couldn't hold on. To be fair, though, Keen Dancer has come back and shown to be in good form, as a lot of Randy's horses are. It's kind of a remarkable run for that barn when you consider the history of that barn. They're really running very well, including a win yesterday. Picks up Kendrick, though, to be fair, and obviously Kendrick's a terrific rider, but I don't think Eric did nothing wrong at all with this horse. And last time out wasn't getting the lead. Supposed to try to wire the field, is the horse to beat. But I thought Wicked Lady on the outside. I thought Joey Martinez was supposed to be aggressive and be right on that horse's flank.
Pair of blinkers goes on, outside draw, yeah, I guess. To me, it was Ice Cold Gold that goes to the top, and maybe you're right, and the outside horse presses. The field Ice Cold Gold faced two back, especially taking Keen Dancer's recent form. That field was like the Breeders' Cup Distaff compared to the Phillies.
I don't agree with you.
No?
April Antics?
I thought Keen Dancer and April Antics compared to the Phillies and Mares she's facing in here.
Well, Wicked Ladies races 3 and 4 back are fine, and while last time wasn't great, it wasn't bad.
I guess.
Listen, I think the thing going for Ice Cold Gold is that Jacobson's horses seem to be waking up a little bit and running a little bit better.
Yeah.
So maybe he's live. But listen, I took a look at our girl Faith in here. I'm not a huge fan. And she's not really a dirt horse. She's probably better in the turf, though she's not very good in the turf either. But I don't think these horses have to win. I didn't like anybody besides the outside 3 horses in here.
I put the blinkers going back on the one Sweet Sugar Baby. She never had them going long on the dirt. I didn't love
when she had them.
I'm sorry?
She never ran a step when she had them.
Right, but that was going short, and I think she ran, at least she has 1 or 2 races going long where she woke up a little. Listen,
Good luck with her.
I'm grasping at straws here. Okay. I'm just hoping Ice Cold Gold gets in front of them and keeps going.
I think it's more competitive with the 3 horses on the outside in this race. We'll see what happens in race number 2. Race number 3, I think the first question you have to ask yourself is Chloe Rose. Do you trust Chloe Rose? She's been running against significantly better horses. I'd go back to Saratoga to her victory up there. Obviously an effort that would make her very tough to beat. And she really didn't run that badly last time, to be fair. I was looking up some numbers for Gus Rodriguez, when he first started training his own, he was tremendous. His numbers off the claim with routers. Who's the horse? Was it Amazing? Who's the horse he claimed?
Hammer and Hammer?
Hammer and Hammer. Couldn't remember his name yesterday. Thank you.
Boy,
I should have texted
one of
you.
my pets.
He is, over the last 3 months, 2 for 29 with a 73-cent ROI. And over the last 6 months, is 6 for 74, 8%, with 20, I think 3 hitting the board. So he's barely hitting the board at 30% of the time with a $1.36 ROI. I mean,
tough game.
It's a tough game, and he's just not been going well. And you take a horse that's dropping like this, but she is still the horse to beat in this race. I just didn't want to put her on top.
Yeah, I put her second. You put her third. Listen, she has races that beat these horses on memory. The problem is, do you want her at a short price when she kind of woke up last time, right? And that's saying she kind of woke up last night is being nice to her.
I don't.
Because her races 2 and 3
I
and 4
disagree.
back.
Her race 3 back makes her a major contender in here. She was running against Mosienko, 2-T, and Snicket in that race. She was running against Reappeal.
Did she do any kind of running, Andy?
Well, yeah, she was involved in the pace in the race against Reappealing. Those are so much better horses. I'm not in love with her. She's finding a very vulnerable group in here. I don't think her form is horrendous. Her race 2 back obviously was bad, but her other races, they're just against horses that she did not belong in against. You put anybody in this race in that field, and you're going to tell me they're not going to beat a pole? Who in this race was going to be competitive in there?
Right, but the problem is she's getting beat a pole by those horses. But I guess you could say those horses would beat the rest of these by a pole. So
she's the horse to beat.
Yeah.
You didn't pick her, and I didn't pick her.
Yeah.
But she is the horse to beat.
She's the horse to beat.
But I'm not in love with her.
But she's going to be
There's
a short
two
price.
horses coming out of a race down in Maryland, or actually Parks. And I went back, and this is at Parks on November 15th. It's a few races back. Now, I was obviously hoping the track was dry for Bocce, because this horse has gotten 2 straight wet tracks. But the thing is, this horse has gotten 2 straight sealed tracks, Bocce, and Bocce now gets a harrow track. And I firmly believe the difference between wet tracks, harrowed and sealed, is astronomical.
Light years.
Some horses just don't handle sealed tracks, and I think they are fine on horse races that are harrowed. I don't notice the moisture in there. And honestly, I was just looking for somebody in here, and I thought Bocce might be the interesting one in here. I think both of these horses, you've got the 6 on top, I've got it 3-6.
Yeah.
I wanted these 2 horses as the alternatives, 2 new faces, and I was hoping getting back to a harrow track would help Bocce.
Yeah, that was it. To a couple of strangers. You took the bigger priced one. I took the one on the outside for Scott Lake.
Bocce's also the speed in here, I should
Yeah,
add.
she should be in front. She should be in front here. One's bringing the rider with them. I get Kendrick. Yeah.
Kendrick will be appearing on America's Day at the Races tomorrow, making an appearance after the races are done here, set up with Greg and I.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be one of the great honors of his life. It really is. I mean, I don't even think an Eclipse Award would be as big as sharing the dais up there with the 2 of us. Not me, Greg. I think it's Greg, really.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Race number 4. So, race number 4, let's take a look at One Whirlwind Ride here. Rob Atras actually has good numbers. I was looking up his numbers, second off the claim off a win in the dirt. With sprints, he's 7 for 18. With routers, he's 1 for 9. It's kind of a funny stat. And is 7 furlongs a sprint? It is, but you think of sprints as 6, especially with Rob. And this horse beat a hungry bunch last time. And at 2 for 32, isn't he kind of a tough horse to ask to win 2 in a row, even for Rob?
He is.
I'm not saying he can't.
No, he is.
That was a bad bunch last time.
I think he's kind of the horse to beat. It sounds ridiculous. You don't?
No.
Yeah, no. I thought he was kind of the horse to beat.
No, Dr. Love's the horse to beat it here.
I think
Love was his last race.
I think the problem is the trip. And I guess you might want Dr. Love at the trip more than you want more One World One Ride at the trip. I don't know if One World One Ride really wants the 7. And Dr. Love,
he's not getting the lead with Fenway in here.
He's not getting the right. Correct. He's not getting the lead.
No,
with
he
Fenway.
wasn't a speed horse. I guess he had some speed.
He had some speed. I mean, listen.
I don't really like him. I've got him third.
There's no offense to previous connection to his previous trainers, but hey, obviously the trainer change is significant, to say the least.
It moved him up 5 buyer points, to be fair. It got him to win a race, which is something he was pretty much unable to do. But he didn't improve, tenfold. As far as the race that Dr. Love is coming out of, you're going to have to explain to me how you can pick Russian to win, who did absolutely no running with a soft trip in here, where Dr. Love moved prematurely and wide and was aggressively ridden on the pace in here and blew his doors off. I didn't like Dr. Love last time. He wasn't going to beat Complete Agenda. Obviously, he should have been second in there. And I think he's way the horse to beat in here. I didn't think on top it was going to be a shorter price. But I was going to pick at 3.5. I was talking to David last night. I said, what are the prices in these? He said, the 5's going to be a much better price. I said, okay, I'll pick the 5. It's a better price. But how is the 6 going to beat?
I'm hoping a little less distance is better for Russian to win. I'm hoping there's a little pace in. When Fenway's in here, there's going to be some pace on.
But there was pace last time.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Well, yeah, there was pace in here. I think
time.
he was a little closer to the pace.
Not as close as Dr. Love was.
Right, but Dr. Love was more forward in his last 2, and Russian to Win's best. I thought Russian to Win's best race was 2 back when he came from the moon.
Why did this horse change trainers? You are involved with the connections, correct? So why did this horse change trainers?
Former management. It was a former management decision. There was a connection to the former.
It's like the dog ate my home.
The former management. The former management.
That's not an
connection.
answer. That's not.
I'm sorry.
What is that? I don't understand what that means.
There was a break from the former management of the Bayer stables.
A big Venezuela, Patrick. Venezuela.
What'd you call him?
I think Valenzuela.
Fernando
I think he makes
Valenzuela?
a ton of sense. He was in against a much tougher field, going a mile and an eighth last time out. And I don't think the race totally fell apart. Probably a little bit much for him. His race 2 back easily makes him a major player in this race. In fact, I think he's the only horse that I could legitimately take against the number 3 Dr. Love in here. And I think we can run back to that race 2 back. And I don't think he's a horse that needs the lead. I'm a little worried. He hasn't won a race in a while. That bothers me a little bit.
Well, he can't make the lead. He can't make the lead on
No,
Fenway.
I said I don't think he needs the lead. I'm hoping he can stalk. And if he runs back to his race 2 back, I thought he was going to be very, very tough in this race, though I was impressed by Dr. Love's race last time out. I thought he really improved in the Tom Morley barn last time out.
Yeah, he ran, he made the move. Dr. Love made the move into the pace last time. I just...
Well, there's no way Russian to Win can possibly beat him if they run similar to their last times, unless Dr. Love falls down at the start. I mean, maybe Dr. Love doesn't show up and Russian to Win moves forward 5 lengths. That, anything can happen at the racetrack, but based on their last races, it's not even remotely competitive. It really isn't. Doesn't mean that, listen, one race does not mean the next necessarily, but I'm not exactly sure what about Russian to Win makes him competitive.
I'm just hoping it's a little bit of a better setup. I think.
But he got a great setup last time.
I don't know if he. I think he was a little closer than he was supposed to be last time. I'll put it like that.
Well, he's got Eric on him, so he won't be today.
Correct.
The first 4, we'll go back with the late pick 4 after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Back on Talking Horse, I want to thank our sponsors at Saratoga Water as well. He is Anthony, I'm Andy. Race number 5, not exactly a race that has a lot of form. I wanted to show the debut of KD Cakes before this horse ran way over his head last time, or her head last time out. And this is when you can barely see her. She comes out so slow. She's the one that came out good 6 to 8 lengths behind the field, and while she was running in a pretty weak field first time out, she made a significant run in this race to finish 4th. And you think about the race, if she hadn't gotten left in there, it's not impossible she would have won this race.
She would have been right there. Yeah.
And when you're looking at who the competition is in here, I mean, how do you not consider this horse the horse to beat? Rob had a really good-looking first-time starter, by the way. Win here over the week on Sunday.
The filly with the pretty face, the white face.
Yeah, they wrote about it in the Naira notes, but
she was supposed to debut in Saratoga. She was supposed to debut in Saratoga last summer. Yeah.
I saw filly. Rob in the Naira notes was talking about a horse he has going to run at Gulfstream where the dam is
Rumbledoll.
Rumbledoll is one of my favorite horses, and the reason that she's one of my favorite horses is, and it's not really because I bet a few dollars on her. She won at Saratoga, paid $50 one day, but she made, as you may remember, it was a turf sprint. You probably weren't there, but I'm sure you were watching. She made a run from 100 behind, this huge run.
That the day Joel rode her?
I don't know who wrote her, but I was watching the race with my mom. My mom was with me at the track, and we were watching it. And I said to her, see that horse all the way in the back? I bet a few dollars on that horse. She's kind of a crazy horse, but she's a deep closer. And my mom was as excited watching that race as I've ever seen her, and she said to me after the race, I see why you like racing. Like, she was so excited seeing that horse make that big run.
She was
so
a cool
I
filly.
Always had
really
a huge affinity for Rumbledoll because, you know, there are races that make people get it. And my mom, who's interested in racing, is primarily me working in racing, and her great friend Seth Klarman as well. But she really saw that horse make that run, and it showed the excitement that a horse. And she was an exciting horse, and you understand why those horses that make those runs.
She was Heart Attack City,
right?
Yeah.
But horses that make those runs, like Zenyatta. One of the reasons that Zenyatta was so popular was she made those crazy runs.
Don't get
from
Donnie
way
Nelson's
back.
excited.
Donnie's here. Yeah.
Is he here today?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, please.
You know, it's unfortunate. Anyway, I don't have a problem. God, you've got KD Cakes. You and Rob have a fight?
No, I'm going to tell you what the problem is. To me, she just looks like a filly that's just so slow
not right,
early.
Rob. It's not right, Rob.
I think she needs to go long.
I don't agree.
I mean, she just doesn't get out of the gate. Even last time, after she broke, listen, she was light years over her head, like you said. Okay. He was just throwing reins at her. She just did not. She looks like a filly that just needs a little bit
more.
So
where are we going with Joey Big Nose?
So there was a big push on her first time out.
Big race. Her friend Big.
Stop, man. She was terrible, but. She got a little kitchen sink.
Talia Lynch should move the horse up.
She got the blinks. She got the blinks. She got the Lasix. She got the race under her belt. They left her with Tally. She's a state bred. Where's she going? She's not getting back on the van. So I just gave her a chance. She was pounded in the multis. She was bet on the tote board. Yeah. So I just gave her another chance. Okay. That was it. Like I said, I thought Rob's filly needed more ground. Linda's the 6th. The horse you put on top. I mean. She was another one.
Well,
she got ground first time out. She's a busting stone, so you would imagine cutting back's going to help her.
She basically, I mean, I don't know. She just stopped in there. And it wasn't that Jose wasn't trying to ride her, because he was trying to ride her in there. But it was a sloppy sealed track. She did take some money in there. I like the fact that Linda's cutting her back. She's a second-time star for Linda, who's not going to be a short price. I don't mind taking her in this field. I thought she and the 5 are the ones I wanted. I'm going to throw in Magnolia Wind as a David Duggan firster. The horse that I don't know what I'm either going to be completely wrong about or I'm right about is Pretty Miss Keynes. I mean, I know she gets LASIK. She's supposed to be the speed in this race, but I just don't know if she can run at all.
That's why
she started out her career like she could run, but her last 2 races are just atrocious.
But I'm going to take a page out of your book. They're all sloppy sealed tracks, and now she's getting back to an open racetrack.
That's fair. No, I agree. Listen, I'm not going to be shocked by anybody in this race.
She's dropping to the bottom for the first time. Yeah.
No, she can win. I agree. Listen, I'm not. That's not exactly.
It's a strange. It's a weird race.
Well, it's not a race. I think you want to take a very, very strong chance standing there. So
that's why I didn't have a tip on Joey Big Nose, but I like betting the tips back, and this horse was obviously. If I'm not mistaken, you weren't here. I think she was favored in the pick 4 and pick 5 or something.
It's also a funny name, but anyway. So tell us about New York Supreme in the next race.
I don't know anything about New York Supreme. The horse is kind of in good form since the break and Amira taking the horse back. Amira was involved with this horse early on. The horse's last 2 races are okay. Horse is going to be a decent enough price. I didn't really want Freudian. I did not have a fight with Rob, by the way, Andy.
I don't know, Rob. I'm talking up your horses and the guy's dumping on them. I'm just pointing it out. You know who your real friends are.
I put
just
him
letting
second.
you know.
Blinkers go back on Freudian. This was a race. I'm more of a pick 4 and 5 player, like I said. I want to just move the chains in here. 2, 3, 5, and 7. You have the same 4 horses. I put the horse that I think is going to be the best price on there. I can't imagine the horse you have on top is going to be the best price of these 4 horses. I think New York Supreme will be a bigger price than Holiday Jazz.
She won't be. The thing about New York Supreme, it's a very unusual situation when the chart callers here badly muffed it. And you don't see it very often because we have fabulous chart callers. But New York Supreme had the trip from hell. First of all, she's completely shuffled back. She's a speed. And you see Eric badly steadying her. After she's been shuffled, he steadies her again. So this is a horse that needs to be forward. She has created problems for herself at the start before, but that wasn't the case here. She was extremely unlucky. She was totally squeezed out in this race, and you see where she is, and it's not exactly like this race fell apart. You see where Simple Sugar is. She's right up towards the lead in this race, whereas New York Supreme had about as ridiculous a trip as you can find. Eric's even steadying her here. Around the turn, he's steadying her again. And listen, he probably also knows that she's a tricky horse, and she doesn't exactly have a big run. And considering the trouble that she had, and the placements that she had, and the dynamics of this race, it's remarkable that she made as long a run as she did, and even though she hung at the end, any horse would have hung at the end, not just her, and she's been a bit of a character flaw horse in her career, a lot of things, but this was a situation where this wasn't her fault. The problem is, that was a terrible field. And she's meeting horses in here that are better horses than the one she was running in against there. And so I wonder how reliable she is. But this horse had an absolute nightmare trip. And this is one of the, I'll tell you something, I don't know if once a year the chart callers here blow it like this. They completely missed this. And frankly, I didn't tell them because I figured we'd show it on the show and we'll go from there. But they do need to correct that chart, and I think they will. But this horse clearly had, it's not even one of these, I thought she had trouble, you didn't think. They missed it. They flat out missed the trouble on this horse. Now, having said that, I just don't know if she's good enough. I think Holiday Jazz, a horse who's supposed to be in front in here,
she's supposed to
she
be
ran
speed.
Against a killer field last time, and at least she tried to show speed with those horses.
If New York Supreme breaks,
she's not that fast anymore. She'll be stalking her. But she's not a bullet. And I really don't think that Eric, knowing the kind of horse she is, you get in trouble with this horse when you go too fast. And by the way, they want to send her? Go ahead and sit second to her, because she has a tendency to run off when you send her. And she may win, and I don't envy Eric riding her because she has made a lot of good riders look bad. I'll tell you something else, Captivating Kara. I mean, she's run against a lot better horses than the one she's facing here, and I don't think we should just ignore that she's dropping in for a quarter for the first time, considering.
Well, she's dropping in for a quarter for the first time since she broke her maiden for a quarter.
Right. Well, she's finally basically running where she belongs. I imagine that Mitch has probably wanted to drop her for a long time.
I don't love the drop all the way back to the quarter.
Where's she supposed to run her?
I guess you could run her for 40, but yeah, I mean, they offered for a quarter 14 months ago, so.
I think Holiday Jazz makes a lot of sense, but New York Supreme, that was a wild trip last time. Race number 7. Well, race number 7, we can have the same conversation we had yesterday.
We could.
Because the reality is that whether or not you and I agree, and you and I are probably on the same page in this one about the Lasix, non-Lasix things, people are making a big deal about it, but the reality is that more often than not, I'm noticing that horses that go off Lasix, go back on Lasix, it doesn't seem to matter. And I understand the argument would be better, but we talked about it with St. Tappet yesterday, and we talked about, yeah, he was cutting back, it was the right race, but I felt there was a significant chance he can't run anymore, and I think you have to at least acknowledge the possibility that Be Better, who Todd Pletcher wanted to ride Manny Franco, they gave him let him serve a suspension late. He ends up with Romero Mirage in this thing, and I don't want to beat up on Romero, but he's no Manny Franco. And I get it with this horse, and I picked him second, but I think you have to accept the possibility this guy can't run at all anymore.
Yep, and the blinkers go on, so there's a little bit of a...
We can show his race, by the way, while I was babbling about him. This is Monmouth, the last one very well. Sorry.
There's a little bit of an odor, as you would say, of desperation here, where it's trying a couple of different things here. But yeah, I know he bled in the Curlin, for sure.
Right.
I don't know about the Hill Prince. I don't know about
He
the
didn't run
Discovery.
that badly in the Hill Prince, to be fair. He
No,
ran
yeah,
well.
I
but
beat
he
4
didn't run-
lengths. Now I know turf, but still 4
least-
lengths.
at
And he
least he
didn't run
showed
like a
up.
horse.
At least he showed up.
Last time is troubling because he got beat 50 lengths.
It was a muddy seal track, to be fair. It's, listen, much like St. Tappet, and they can say with St. Tappet, well, it was a wet track, even though he's handled a sealed track before. You feel like it's a make or break day for him. He's got to show up and run well, and I'm not sure what to do with him. I see the positives. I do. I don't trust No Burn. I don't love the draw on the inside. An outside draw, and I liked him before, and then he's got 2 inside draws. But I think we're going to show his race. Yeah.
You don't like the inside draw for him.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. There's other speed. He's the speed.
I love it for him. If I liked him, I'd love it for him.
He's got to break, though. That's the concern. But last time was his fault. The time before, I don't know that it was. But I thought he ran a remarkable race. He got beat, broke a
Last
length
time.
and a half slow. He rushed up 5 wide to make the lead, engaging it here. And the other thing is, we picked the race up. He ends up on a dead rail. And so while he got easily beaten by Locally Owned had the absolute perfect trip, and he had everything go wrong. Is there some question that No Burn is losing his form? Yeah, but I don't think he ran that badly in here, and I think it looks like he ran a lot worse than he did.
Dead rail. I agree with everything you said. I thought he ran really, really well.
Yeah,
last
and I
time.
shouldn't say about the line. Yeah, you're not wrong. He's got to break, I guess. If he breaks, the rail's good. You're absolutely right. I totally agree. If he doesn't break, post 6 isn't good either. So
Right. It won't matter. The problem and I think the problem with him is Little Demon's in here, and Little Demon.
Here's Little Demon, by the way.
Where'd
this come from?
Here, well, this is what we spoke about yesterday. The randomness of the David Jacobson horses. This horse really.
This was some performance.
I don't know where
It's like
these
a wildebeest
where
out
these
there.
2 races came from. I don't.
Well,
one at Penn.
Penn National races, who knows where races
Right,
come
but what I'm saying is
they're
back-to-back figs.
They never duplicate.
They're
I don't mean.
And he did. He
Never.
ran an 88 and 89.
Right. You never see it.
You never see it,
Those
and
horses.
then he did it.
I was completely dumb. Listen, I wasn't going to win because I like the 3rd horse in here, so it didn't matter. It's not like I finished 2nd to him and I could cry.
And now
about
he's
it.
going to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, but he's got to get a mile and 1/8.
But he's got to get a mile
and
and
I
an
agree
eighth.
with you. I agree. He's going to be forward in here. I agree.
He has
Even
to
though
be.
the pace wasn't fast last time. He's going to be forward.
Off of his
in
last
here.
2 races, he has to do everything he can to be forward in here.
I don't know what to do in here.
I don't either.
I'll tell you something else. I don't think senior investment is completely impossible in this race.
I don't either, and I'll tell you another thing about him. I think he kind of has to be focused. He's coming out of a couple of faster races.
Yeah.
He's coming out of a couple of faster races.
Well, he has the speed.
And he has the speed.
But he's not as fast as the 1.
He's not as fast as
And Little
the 1.
Demon isn't either, but his last 2 races indicate
Correct.
he could be.
And you'd almost think that Jose Lezcano, if Kendrick on Little Demon is aggressive, will kind of follow him in. You want to get stuck 4 or 5 wide on the
Well,
first
there's
turn?
a slight problem with that. But it's actually good news for
What's
you.
that?
Jose Lezcano's not riding him. We discussed
Oh,
this
right.
before
I'm
the show.
sorry. Abner. Well, that guy's aggressive.
I don't disagree. I don't know if he's fast. I don't think he's impossible in here. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the 2.
The rest of them can win.
But I should say, he's the only horse that you and I have left out of our top 4 completely. So he's probably the winner of this race. I didn't think he was quite good enough to beat these horses, but who knows? I'm not going to be surprised. I think Locally Owned can win. They move a little up front. If guys get contentious, why can't Locally Owned just
I
pick
put
up
him
the pieces?
second. Yeah.
Yeah, I got him 3rd. I don't think he's impossible.
Kind
in
of.
there.
I don't want to say he hung last time.
He hung.
But he hung last time.
He hung.
Yeah.
He should have won. But we also lost a horse that's not that bad.
Right.
So the last race today is a really fun one. We lost the only horse in the race that had any form whatsoever.
Yep.
And we scratched out a 5. This is going to be this is one you're waiting for.
And you probably were just as shocked as I am that you wind up on EA.
Well,
You owe him one though.
well, we'll show the EA race from Saratoga.
Of course
because
we
it was
will.
it was my biggest win of probably my biggest win in 2020.
There's been a lot of money we were going to see this one today, folks.
Well, Kendrick's just supposed to just air him out.
Of course.
Just.
Yeah.
This is the kind of horse that Kendrick's just going to go. I'm going. I think David B. I'm going because there's
I
no.
saw you
others.
picked him, and I said, I'm not going to change it around.
Well, I don't love this horse.
I kept
I'm
star
not-
attitude
don't
on
love
top
anybody.
of
I
it.
thought about picking Super Coach Fred on top. Competitive edge.
I wonder who that is.
This field. What?
Who's the super coach Fred? Do we know?
I don't know. But
How
I'm sure
did, how,
he's
did,
super.
how did that horse win?
I don't know. It was a
He was
beautiful
going to be
sight.
5th at the 3/16 bowl.
I did a little dance
won?
up
Did
in
you? Voodoo?
watching the race. No, I did a little I was doing a lean. Well, first I was hoping he'd hold second. The winner was hold second because I like the winner. Then I was doing the lean for him.
Nobody in the history of the NYRA racetracks, Joe Reyes, who's passed us, who was affectionately known by Black Joe. He would lean, Black Joe, he'd lean 270 degrees.
Knows Joe.
He'd be bent like a Gumby. He would lean like nobody else ever leaned at a NYRA racetrack.
I knew Joe very well for many years.
How he never fell over leaning, and he got more horses home than anybody I ever knew doing that lean. I went to the two-star attitude, gelding, Lasix, dropping to the lowest. I almost changed it.
Joe's real name.
Joe Reyes.
That's impressive. That's impressive. He passed away about 10 years ago.
No, probably about 6. Hasn't been 10.
You don't think so?
I was doing the
cancer,
show here.
right?
Yeah.
No, if you were a regular at the New York tracks, you knew Joe.
You knew
Joe. Believe me.
Yep.
Anyway, we're done. That's Talking Horses, and Chris Griffin's just getting started here, calling the action today. You're getting started, heading over to NYRA Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200, and we will match you to $200 of your initial deposit. We have a $15 bonus. Opt in. You bet 75 on Aqueduct and Tampa, 75 or more. And finally, America's Day at the Race, 2:30 to 5:30. Greg and I will be upstairs. Maggie's in the paddock, and our buddy Paul LaDuca handling all the action at
Paulie
Oaklawn
Dukes
Park. Well, Paul is doing a fabulous job down at Oaklawn Park. We're done. You're just getting started. Have a great day.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.